Live.
There we go.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and all of you potential Toastmasters out there. Welcome to the show. You probably signed in, or you're watching this later, expecting to see Scott Trousseau, our Club Growth Director. Unfortunately, Scott was unable to be with us today, so you're stuck with me. And with me is the lovely Phyllis Tribby, a distinguished Toastmaster and past District Director. Hi, Phyllis. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ken, and good morning to our public out there. We're just here talking, so we'd love to have your comments. We got some things we're going to tell you today, and if you have questions about them, put them in the comments. It doesn't matter if it's during our program or later in the afternoon or in the next 3 or 4 days or a week. Those things, those comments automatically come to the Club Growth Director. So they will be answered. So please make a comment. Let us know there.
Absolutely. And the other thing you can do, you notice there's my email address right there. So if you would like to send me an email directly, it's krichardson, at gmail.com. So you can certainly let me know that you have something you want to ask or to follow up on, and we will definitely get back to you. I will definitely get back to you. So I'm just checking here, Phyllis, on our page to make sure everything is good. So we are here. We are live and everything is going just as we had hoped it would. So I'll periodically be checking that just to make sure there aren't any comments hanging. Now, today what we're going to do is follow up on our discussion of club and district leadership, because we are in that time of year where we are soliciting applications for district leadership, and that's for roles, really everything from district director to program quality director, club growth director, division director, and area director. And we talked about some of the requirements and responsibilities, a little bit got into it, but today I want to show our viewers where they can find easy tutorials and information on the redesigned TI website. I think you'll find it very, very useful. Then another thing I want to do, if we have time, if we don't, we'll save it for next week, is to show some of the benefits of using FreeToast Host. What I find, and I include myself in this, I've never taken full advantage of all that FreeToast Host has to offer. And this came up recently when a colleague asked about a listing of speeches that she had given. Well, because she hadn't entered stuff in Pathways in real time, so she was trying to go back and reconstruct, oh, I did this and that. And that is not an uncommon experience. And so the question is, well, where can I find that information? Well, you can find it, as I will show you, in FreeToast Host, but there's a caveat. You have to be diligent on the front end and making sure that you enter the information, right? Has it ever happened to you, Phyllis, where you think, oh, I need to go back and capture this speech?
Well, I don't use FreeToast to the best of its ability either. I've been in there many, many times. I'm admin. I've done various things, but I still need a lot of training and, like you say, vigilance. What I do is I keep every one of my evaluations that people send to me.
Oops. And
then when I use it for something in Pathways, put it in there. Then I write on there where I have put it. So
exactly.
That's kind of how I do it. But, that's probably not the best way, because not everybody sends you those papers that you need.
Yes.
But
at least you have a system.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have a system.
And as we're going to see a little bit later, not everyone realizes, and certainly I didn't till, I'm now the webmaster for Early Risers Toastmasters Club, which forced me to really learn how to use it. And I feel still like I'm learning a lot about how to use Free Toast Host, and it's really a marvelous tool. But we have to discipline ourselves to take advantage. So what I'm going to do right now, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. It's just one of the things I found is that not everybody can do all of the things that Free Host has. And if you do not have your officers listed properly, then they can't get in. So that was the first thing. Dana says, I'm not listed as an officer. She's our new VP of Ed. So I had to go in there myself, with the admin and change that.
Exactly.
Now, I'm sure that at one time, any officer could go in there and change, but now, no, you have to be listed as an officer or you cannot get in there to make corrections and changes.
Exactly. It restricts what you can and cannot do. Well, to get us started, I'm going to go to the TI website. So let me share my screen on that, if I may.
Okay.
This by now, hopefully, folks have sort of gotten used to the new format, and there's a lot of stuff in the upper area that's a drop-down menu driven, similar to what we had before. But there's also these tiles, and all of these tiles lead you to a different feature of the new website. And what we've been talking about that I want to just briefly go over for our viewers to help them is Leadership Central. And Leadership Central is divided into district and club roles. So you have District Central, and then you see we have Club Central and club officer roles, club officer tutorials, and what have you. And the thing about the way this is set up is there's some very basic information that club officers may not get right away. For example, let's take a look at Club Central. If you click on this tile, take it a moment to load up here. Okay, there we go. My home club is Early Risers, so this is the Club Central for Early Risers. And here are the things that you can do. You have to be authorized, of course. So it's typically the officers who have access to Club Centrals for their club, so that you can make changes as needed. But I'm the president this year of Early Risers, a role I often relish. And so I have access to this, but let me just review a little bit and show you something that you may not be aware of. So the things that you can do, this is for club management. And this is typically done by either the president or the VPE. Typically it's the VPE, at least that's the way it's been in my club, because one is to submit education awards. And that is something that the VPE does. When one of our members completes a level in Pathways, you have to do two things. Remember, you have to fix it in Basecamp. You have to note it, not fix it, but you have to add it in Basecamp, but you also have to come here to submit. So that's going to be typically the VPE that does that. Add membership, that's typically going to be the VP of membership. Now, sometimes I've done that as secretary if the VP of membership is out of town or something, but the secretary, I think, also has access. But VP of membership is typically going to be taking care of that. Submit payments. That's going to be the secretary. The treasurer. The club treasurer will typically do that. And maintaining the club roster is either going to be the secretary or the VP of membership. So that's club membership management, the upper part of Club Central. Any comments on any of this, Phyllis?
No, it's like that's who usually does it, but it sometimes as treasurer, I get the money, so I usually add the membership. It just really depends upon your club, what areas you work out for that particular officer to hold.
Yes.
In another club, a guy is president. most of the time he's adding membership. So, sometimes it just depends upon how the club is working.
Exactly.
Happening in your club. It's not like everything has to be the way Toastmasters states. That is your guideline for the best practices.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they don't work out for your particular club.
Exactly. And there is a lot of overlap, and we always help each other. And that's one of the things about
everybody covers for everybody else.
Yeah, and these are the things you talk about in your executive committee meetings. And like you said, for submitting payments, the treasurer usually does that. Well, he or she may also at that time go ahead and add the member on there. Mm-hmm. So that's club membership, and a little lower, club management. So you have, this is very important, club contact and meeting information. Now, the reason I'm not clicking on these tiles is I don't want to expose confidential information about my members, but you can go in to your own club and just explore to see what's beyond these tiles. But basically, the club contact and meeting information, that's where you put, where are we meeting? Is there a Zoom link? Who can I contact if I want more information? Right now, we are just starting the TI marketing campaign. So it's very, very important that every club makes sure that their contact information is up to date. I just went in there a few days ago, actually started the beginning of the year and did some updates on that. So you want to make sure you keep that update. If you have a club success plan, you'll find that here. Now, this is something that people get confused about, the addendum of standard club options. That's, we all operate under the club constitution that's provided by TI. The addendum it allows us to customize our clubs a bit. So it'll talk about things like, are we an online meeting? Are we hybrid? Are we in person only? Those are the kinds of things that go in there. And that's your sort of your personalization of your club bylaws and constitution. Financials, of course, that's for the treasurer to review receipts and statements. The other one that's very important this time of year is club officer assignments. Many clubs and Toastmasters elect officers twice a year. That's why we are going through this right now with our TLIs, the 3 TLIs that we offer, plus all of the related districts. And some clubs use the same officers, or they elect officers for 1-year terms. In either case, you need to go in and make sure that this is up to date. We just had an officer who stepped down because of her scheduling, so she felt she couldn't fulfill that role. So you need to go in and update that. Club demographics. This is information about your members, things like mailing address, officer terms, club preferences, those kinds of things. Any events, information that you have, like if you're planning an open house or a speechcraft or a speechathon, you can document that there. And then club achievements. That reviews past awards. If you were President's Distinguished or Select Distinguished, whatever the year, and Early Risers was founded in June of 1979. So there's a lot of history there on achievements. What are your thoughts about this section of Club Central? Any nuggets you'd like to share?
Other than people go in and look at this information, go in and see what's there. I'm going to have to tell you that there are some of these things I have never even opened up to see what's there. And that's after 25 years of using this page all the time. It's like we're all in such a big hurry to do what we have to do and get out. And it's like, no, there's a lot of things here that maybe would help you in your officer role. If not, maybe would just help you as a member get a better feel for how the club is to operate.
Exactly. And as a member, you may not have access to this, but definitely as a club officer, you should go exploring. That's always been my theme when we're talking about the website. Just go exploring. You're not going to break it. And every time, if you make a change, it asks for confirmation. So you have an opportunity to say, oops, I didn't mean to do that, and you can cancel. So we've looked at club membership, this upper section, club management. Last, but certainly not least, resources and reports. If you want to know how your club is doing in terms of the Distinguished Club program, you can click on this tile that you're emphasizing here, and that will take you to the Distinguished Club report. Eligibility assistant. Now, this is something that is useful, but nobody uses it. For example, if you are checking to see if you have a member who wants to compete in a speech contest, the eligibility assistants, you put in their name, will tell you, and what speech we're talking about, will tell you if they are eligible. And also, if you're an officer and you want to assign a proxy, it'll also tell you what you can and cannot do. So it helps you to sort of sort through some of that, because I know the eligibility requirements to participate in the international speech contest, for example, have changed. The legacy component has been dropped. You know, it says, it used to say, you have to have completed 6 speeches in the communication manual, or 2 levels 1 and 2 in pathways. Well, now the legacy component has been dropped. It's no longer applicable. You have to have completed 2 levels. So this will help you do that. And then, of course, any administrative reports, current historical club information you can find there. The other thing I want to point out before we leave this page is this little known link right up here in the left-hand corner. Can you see that link, Phyllis?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of I'm checking it out.
And no, I've never used it.
Okay, well, let me explain what this is, and I'm gonna open it up here in just a second. It's a tutorial for how to use Club Central. And you're right, a lot of people haven't used it, but that's one of the things that I like about having this opportunity with Wake Up with Toastmasters. You and I can explore things, yes, and share that with our audience that they didn't know was available to them. And it's very useful. So if you click on this, I'm going to click on this. This is going to take you to this screen. This is Club Central Tutorials. And it basically tells you how to navigate Club Central. So I'm going to click on this just to show you. I'm not going to go through all of it. So, yeah. You can, I don't know if you can hear that. It's giving instructions. But anyway, you have the 2 options. Remember the sections we just went over, club membership and then club administration. This is where you have it. So I'm going to click on club administration just to show you what's there. So this should look familiar. This is the section we just reviewed. And I'm not going to go into it because it takes about several minutes to do that. And I want some other things I want to get to. But anyway, if you click one of these tiles within the tutorial, it will explain to you what each one of these tiles is designed to do. So it's a visual and auditory type of tutorial. It's pre-recorded, of course, so you can't really ask questions, but it gets you through an understanding of how to navigate Club Central. So it's pretty good. What do you think?
Sounds interesting to me. But
I think so.
A person like myself just kind of blinds it right through answering all the questions. And if I get into trouble, then I would look for a tutorial. But most of the things that are on this website, you can do just by going through and answering the questions that they ask you, putting in the information that they ask for. It's it's nice to have the tutorial in case you run into trouble, but I don't want anybody to think that they have to have all this great technical information and go through and study to do this work. It's not true. I've been doing this work, and it's just like I open it up, I answer the questions that they ask me, and it gives me the results I want. So tutorials are nice if you, when you get into trouble, but don't
It's also,
have to have it before you can do anything.
well, I think the best thing really is a mentor.
Yeah, oh, yes.
If we plan succession appropriately, and often we don't do a good job of it, it's not anyone's fault. It's just challenging to do. But if you are preparing the next president or the next VPE, take him under your wing, be their mentor. They will be very well prepared by the time they are elected to office. So that's really a good way to do it. And of course, attending the TLI. So I just want to show everyone this page this is on your homepage. You just scroll down, and we talked about this before. I'm not going to review these again, but we just did Club Central, Club Officer Roles, and Club Officer Tutorials. And all of them are very short little tutorials that explain, the role of president, the role of secretary and treasurer, and what have you. They're not meant to replace a good mentor or to replace whatever program you already have or the TLI, but they do supplement your knowledge of what your particular role is. Now I want to go somewhere else for a minute to show people to focus on district leadership. And you can, of course, go to District Central, but the better approach, I think, is to go under the Membership tab, click on that, and you're going to see another option. Leadership Central is under there, okay? Not District Central, but Leadership Central. And the reason that's important is because District Central is unique to District 115. It recognizes me as I sign in, and it knows I'm in District 115. But under this tab, I'm going to click on it here. These are the things that I want to share to follow up on our discussion of the district roles. Having trouble thinking this morning. I haven't had enough coffee. That's always the problem. I use that as an excuse when my brain doesn't work.
Well, I think it's really legitimate.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, anyway, so let me just kind of briefly review a couple of things. This focuses on the district, but it does have this tab, this tile on Club Officer Tools, which is very useful. It talks about roles, tutorials. So it's another way to get there if you're not on your homepage. Then the district leader tools, I'm going to look at that in a little more detail in a moment. Region advisor, if you want to apply to become a region advisor, this will give you information. Governing documents, something all of us just love to read. It's really fun. Sort of like watching paint dry you. But these are the Constitution, bylaws, policies, and procedures. And I have spent a little more time reading them because in a district leadership role, you need to have some familiarity. So I think that's important. Performance reports, legal and tax compliance, and then eligibility assistance, again, is on this page. But what I want to do is go to this tile, District Leader Tools. Click on that. Now, here we go. This is going to show you what tools are available to help you as a district leader or to help you learn about district management. So this has things like the leader letter, which is a letter that comes out, I think it's quarterly now, isn't it? Maybe monthly. And then it talks about leadership roles. What is the district? I'm going to click on this for a moment. Things like the District Executive Committee. Now here is what we were talking about the other day. This not only describes what the roles are, it talks about what are the requirements to apply for this particular role. And basically, the executive committee in each district consists of the district director, who's the lead person in the district. And in order to be eligible, you must have served at least 6 months as a club president and 12 months as a program quality director, club growth director, division director, or a combination of those roles for at least 12 months, and been a member of a club that is in good standing for at least 12 consecutive months. So, and that kind of requirement is typical for the trio. So district director, program quality director, club growth, public relations manager. Now, the trio, they're all elected positions. The public relations manager is typically an appointed position. They do PR for the district. The administration manager, also appointed, and the finance manager. The administration manager is the district secretary, if you will. I've served in that role 3 times for 2 different districts. so I'm very familiar with that one. Finance manager, and then district director and area director, and immediate past district director. That's your executive committee. The thing that we were talking about for area director, it's recommended that they have served in an officer role, but not required. And then there are various other roles. I'm going to click on this just to show you because I know we're running out of time. It always seems like the time goes by so fast.
Okay. Can't be. Yeah, it is.
I know, it's like 6. I'm looking at the clock so I don't go over too badly. But here are the other roles that you'll find in district leadership. Region advisor, of course, is even beyond the district. Logistics manager is like the sergeant at arms. Parliamentarian, keep us on track with Robert's rules, and webmaster. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Do you have any comments about that, Phyllis? Any of the roles? What's your favorite?
What's my favorite role?
I know you've done pretty much all of them. So.
well, I have. Yeah, it depends upon what you think about at the time. I like chief judge, which is another role. I've served as operations manager last year. So it just depends. Our manual, which is actually part of District 115, states how we will conduct our meetings and how our district will be run. But it must, be in consistency with the international operations manual. So each year, an operations manual is appointed to run not the Toastmaster year, but from January to December, so that any overlay can be taken by the same person from year to year. So it's nice to go in and see all the changes that were made at the International Convention concerning operations and be sure that our manual reaches that point, has all the changes in it so that we are consistent with international. So I've done that role a few times. I've done conference chair, contest chair. I have not done parliamentarian. But most of them I have done in the past, and I would say it's volunteerism, doing the job that someone thinks you're capable of to the best of your ability. I always say yes. I was taught at a young Toastmaster age, say yes, because there are 1 million people out there that are willing to help you.
I'm glad you brought that up because the operations manual, it is available on our website. You can find it there. Those things get posted, but it's one of those things, again, people need to go to the website and just explore. Particularly, I hope that you're interested in either in district leadership, because that's where you fill out your application. You go under the Become a Leader tab and fill out an application. Then the District Leadership Committee will set up an interview, make sure You are eligible in all of that stuff. So I hope that between Tuesday and today, we have at least sparked some interest among our potential viewers. We don't have anybody online right now. It's just you and me out here speaking to the internet. No one has joined us that's there. But if people come back later and view this program, I hope that it will encourage them to consider district leadership and then go to the DTM115.org website and apply to become a leader. Well,
if you're not sure, still apply, because the top 3 and the division directors are elected offices, but there are going to be 16 area directors that are appointed by the district director. So maybe you're not ready right now, but you know, the office doesn't start until July 1st. And by then you could be ready. So apply and see what it's all about. You get a lot of information from the interviews that are done.
Yes, and don't be fearful, because the resources we've gone over today are just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. We have planned educational programs like the TLI. We have district officer training that we provide several times a year for people who are serving in roles like area director or division director. Well, we're not going to have time, of course, unfortunately, to get to Free Toast, but that's okay. That'll just give us an opportunity.
We have another Tuesday coming up, or another Thursday.
That's right. We have Tuesday coming up, and at that time, we will review the tips and tricks for Free Toast. In the meantime, I'll remind everyone that this Saturday is Educational Enrichment Night. We have an excellent program. It starts at 6 p.m. If you have the newsletter, there's a link in there and a QR code. You can sign up and pre-register, or send me an email, and I'll be happy to send you that link. But we're going to have a guest from District 55, which is Austin, Texas, who is going to give a presentation, a 1 hour or 50-minute presentation on best practices for hybrid meetings. Also, our own Guy Dawson is going to be talking about closing the sale in reference to recruiting and converting potential members to actual members. So that, I think, is going to be very, very good. And then at the end of the month, we have game night. And then on the 21st, we have our last scheduled TLI for this go around. And that's going to be in person on the 21st at the East Las Vegas Library. Anything I've forgotten, Phyllis?
Nope, I think you covered it. Also, I will tell you, people, at the library, it's not starting until 10:30. So those people that are used to a 9 o'clock start time, 10:30 is the start time for the TLI.
Thank you for bringing that up. The library is a great place to use. They have wonderful meeting rooms. They're very, they do charge a fee, but it's very reasonable. It's like $20 an hour. But they have great facilities, but they don't open until 10. So we need a half an hour to set everything up. So that moves things back. But that helps all of our friends who are not early risers like you and I.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for, well, not joining us, but for viewing this program a little bit later. Please make some comments, whether you liked it or you have questions or what have you. And we will see you again. We'll be back on Tuesday, and then we'll talk about Free Toast, right?
All right, then.
Okay. Have a great weekend. Hope I will see everyone at the Educational Enrichment Night. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.